Hey everyone, welcome back to the 2022 West Virginia Cybersecurity and Game Developers Expo. We're talking here today with Michael Laxton from Micoo Games, and you're going to talk to us here today about how you got into game development, what you've been doing, and some of the games you want to show us. Right? So give us an idea of what where was your entry into game development? Because today we've heard from people who got into game development going the game jams route. We've heard of people who got into development by going the traditional college route, and people who just were, oh, I think you got kicked off again.
So you were asking me how I got into game development?
Yeah. How did you get into game development? Did you start doing it on your own? Game jams, college? How did you approach it?
I started on my own. The first time I messed with any kind of game engine was probably when I was 12 or 13. Just taking them assets and putting them together so it happened. But after that, I took classes in high school to get a little bit more serious about it. I worked in Game Maker Studio for quite a while, started learning the basics of programming, and I did it on my own for quite a while, just doing Unity tutorials. Later, I went to Mount West to take their game development classes and left with my degree in applied science with a focus on game development and animation. And
You're supposed to say it's not been smooth, Garrett.
I'm not saying anymore.
So, Michael, you had said that you did get your degree from Mount West. And what did you do after you got your degree from Mount West?
what did I do after I got my degree?
Yeah.
After I got my degree, I tried finding employment at several different places. Eventually, I started working retail, but after a while, I decided to go back into game design seriously. And the project that I'm showing today, I've been working on for a little over a year now,
Okay.
and it's come a long way. And I've made several different projects, but none of them I thought were put together enough to show for this showcase. I wanted to show something that was a little bit more polished.
Uh huh. So I do have two files here. I've got
Mhm.
uh, the the nightmares combat as well as the goo boy boss. Would you like me to pull up one of those for
Yeah,
you so you can talk us through it? And which
yeah,
one would you
that would be
like?
great. The combat one first.
Okay. Let me pull it up here for you. There you go. So tell me about your game and how the mechanics you have set up for this is working.
The mechanics I wanted to make it into a Metroidvania style game like the original Metroids, Hollow Knight, games like that.
Uh huh.
So you start off, you get your very first upgrade point, and you use it to unlock your very first weapon, which is just a simple projectile. And as you defeat enemies and go through the level, you get more and more of these upgrade points, so you can unlock different weapons, improve them, uh, change how they work. Like one of them later in the video is a bit of a like a shotgun blast, and you can upgrade it to where you can increase the number of projectiles shot, decrease the spread so it's more concentrated. You can have your moves take up less of your energy, and
Uh
in
huh.
this game, once you run out of energy, you can continue to fire, but it will start to drain from your health. So you have to watch for that.
Okay.
And when you defeat an enemy, you'll see little blue pellets.
So you said when you defeat an enemy, you see little blue pellets. Are those filling up your health or your ammo?
They fill up your ammo, and if your ammo is at maximum, it does increase your health.
I like the mechanic you're doing where, basically if you're out of bullets, you'll go ahead and start using your own health as ammunition.
Yeah, I thought that would make for a little bit more like strategic thinking, like how much of your health you want to give up, because you can just rapid fire, you know, throw caution to the wind, and use up all your health if you want to defeat an enemy really quickly. But I thought
Do
it was an interesting mechanic that I'd try to work on.
Did I see at some point that I saw a mechanic where that ammo bar would eventually over time start to fill back up, or was that just because I saw you picking up pellets?
There is a recharge rate, and in the upgrades, you can increase the rate that you recharge by how quickly you start to gain it back.
Okay.
So if you want to take it a bit slower, you can wait for your health to wait for your energy to refill,
Hmm.
and then collect this energy so you can get your health back.
But of course, if you're in a big old gunfight, you're not going to have the luxury to sit around and wait for that to refill, huh?
No, that's only useful out of combat, really,
Right.
unless you upgrade it a lot.
Let me pull up your other one here a second. So your other one here is a boss we've got. So I'll add this to the stream.
Yeah. The way the game's going to work, every level is going to have an area boss that you have to focus on, and the whole level is basically just you gaining resources, getting upgrades, so that you can eventually take on the boss at the end.
Okay. So you originally said you first got your start in this by you were doing mods and maps. What were you doing the maps for? You said earlier. Like I feel like you said before high school,
Maps.
you were doing your maps. Didn't you say originally? I think you'd gotten cut off when we were talking,
Oh,
but you were mentioning the type
um,
of
uh,
maps you were doing.
yeah. Before high school, I don't remember the name of it, but it was a free game engine that you could just play around with,
Oh, okay.
and all I really did in it was take assets and
So you were saying it was a free game engine that you were just adding assets and being able to tinker with, basically.
yeah, I was just getting a feel for how it works, how changing uh, things will affect the game and how it works with the physics. It
And
was a
so
really simple game engine. I don't remember the name of it though.
that's fine. I was just, it kind of seemed like you kind of came from the modding community. Then that kind of got your interest peaked because you were modifying maps and that type of thing. So that's a cool way to get into it. Based on that, when you were here at MCTC, were you focusing on Unity or Unreal? And based on that, what is this written in?
I was focused on Unity, and this game is made in Unity also with using C# for my scripts.
Hmm. Okay. Did you find most of the stuff you learned in Unity here at MCTC helped you on this game, or did you find like earlier we talked to Gary Bradford and he talked about how online you can find thousands of Unity tutorials. Were you pretty well set after this, or was there still things you had to go out there and look for? And if you don't mind giving people advice, if you did have to go out there and look for things, where did you find them that could be useful for other people?
I did a lot of Unity tutorials even before Mount West. Before I went to Mount West, I spent about a year just doing Unity tutorials, so I had a solid grasp on it by the time I started taking courses.
Uh huh.
But taking the classes at Mount West definitely helped with my organization, getting everything down on paper, and really thinking out ahead of time what I'm going to make. It
Okay.
helped a lot with structure. But any advice that I have is just go to the Unity documentation page and just exploring, just trying to see what exactly you can do using C# and Unity's engine. And there's a lot you can do with it. And if you have any questions, Unity has a really good forum where you can look at questions other people have posted, and it's pretty easy to navigate once you get the hang of it.
That's cool. So What is your roadmap now based on this game you're working on? What's your plan for it? You going to release it on like say Steam or Epic Game Store, or what's your hopes?
Yeah. This is still really early in development. I don't know if it shows it anywhere in here, but I named it like version 0.0195. But I'm hoping that by the end of this year or early next year, this will be to a point where I can release a demo of it. The demo will probably be on itch or maybe even Patreon. I'm gonna save the Steam release for whenever it's mostly done or completely finished.
Yeah, so you're gonna basically do itch.io and then avoid kind of an early access on Steam type of thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, So I know you were talking about the game development to send people to look at the tutorials and stuff. Any general advice you would have, not even for necessarily the technical side? You were talking about organizing your stuff. Anything that you suddenly learned when you were putting this game together that you hadn't necessarily thought about ahead of time? Like you'd wish someone had said, "Oh, this is going to be majorly important because now I have a headache from doing it because I made this mistake making this game."
Yeah. Whenever I first started putting this game together, all I had was a rough idea of what I wanted it to be. I had a bunch of notes in notebooks and journals that I had kept track of, just random ideas, but it wasn't solid. So whenever I actually got into development, there was a lot of different things I wanted to do, but not all of them were cohesive. So it seems like it's really important to plan ahead before you start doing anything, especially if you're planning on making a very large project, which this is one I'm hoping will be fairly decent sized. This project has gone through so many different iterations. The very first version is unrecognizable to what it is now. So just a lot of organizing your thoughts.
Yeah, I was gonna say, would you say that's how do you feel about that? Is that for the best? Is it something where you're like, well, I wish I would have already had my idea solidified before I started, or did this like recreation of it make the game better because of it?
It's definitely better now than what it was in my head year and a half ago. So I think it's a good thing to try to get your ideas together, but it really depends. I think there's definitely some merit to organizing all your ideas before you get started, but I think everything worked out fine the way I did it.
Okay. Well, do you have any other advice for people, or do you want to point them uh, to social media or a place they can keep track of your game so that when you do start to get yourself an early access build, they can go to itch.io and get to it, that type of thing? I can throw that stuff up here if you like.
Okay. Yeah, I have a right now the only social media I'm keeping track of right now is my YouTube. I have the two videos that I shared with you. I have them as unlisted for now. Later, I'll make them public.
Hmm.
So I have that. Get you a link to it.
Yeah, if you copy that into our private chat, I can put a banner out here that I can show, so people will have a place where they can keep track of your
Okay.
progress and show support and um, encouragement and advice and that type of thing. And
Hey, Michael, this is
That'd be
Garrett.
useful.
I
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit.
Excellent. I like the rubber bandedness of the movement of your character as it swings back and forth, kind of slides to one and have to redirect to go to the other. And I like the light that goes
Yeah.
off of that one level boss. And it looked like some type of either line tracing or ray tracing that's following that light going through that. Um, can
Mhm.
you? Um, what was your inspiration for that, to being able to light up as they go, or even if that was in some type of deployment of ray tracing for that to light the follow, or if it wasn't just some type of light that was turned on full blast so that it looks like it's glowing, or a color.
Um, uh, I thought it would look good aesthetically with how the level was set up so far. And when I started working on this, Unity had released a new pipeline that allowed for dynamic 2D lighting, which isn't something I had previously that I know of. So I got that, started messing around with it, and I really liked how it looked aesthetically when I added it to the boss and to other parts of the game. I've used it in several places, but
Yeah.
I thought it looked really good aesthetically.
Yeah. I like the physics of the jumping of your character, and I think that's
Thanks.
uh, an interesting. I like the way people approach jumping, because obviously, if they want some type of, right, like a Newtonian physics, like your jump is really short, and it's all of a sudden and jarring, but yours has that little bit of that Mario type float going on, and I think that's really
Mhm.
creative, and it looks like you were pretty thoughtful with it. So yeah, I like it a lot.
Thanks. That's something that I didn't know about going into game design. How difficult it is to do something as simple as jumping. It took
Yeah.
forever to get the jumping just right. Whenever I first set it up, as soon as you press the button, your character would go soaring through the air.
Yeah.
And if you hit something, the mesh just couldn't handle it, so you would just fly through the ceiling.
Yeah.
And it took forever to get it worked to a way that I like it.
Yeah. I hear that. No, well done. Uh, Thank you so much for walking through, and keep going if you have anything more. I just wanted to make a
And
quick comment.
um, I got the YouTube link. I'm putting it in the private chat now.
Okay. Yeah, I can put that up here, and then that can go ahead and take them straight to your channel. Good. Okay. Let's see. I will. Okay.
See,
Sorry,
and
my
I'll go
machine.
ahead and unprivate the videos that I had.
Okay. Let me remove this a second and go back to us a second. Yeah, and so I can put this down here. So there's Michael's YouTube channel. If you want to keep track of his progress, or look at these videos and comment on them, and leave your own you know constructive criticism, ideas for him to expand upon, kind of have a little bit of an area to talk on stuff like that. Feel free to go ahead and check out his YouTube channel so you can go ahead and comment on it and watch his progress, and hopefully stay tuned for an early access release that you'll put out there when you have a beta on itch.io. So please go ahead and keep in touch with us, Michael, as you do more progress. I'd love to have you back. So it would be cool to be able to. I mean, it's almost like having pictures of somebody from one year to the next, being able to look at your builds and work their way through. I know. Hey, sir,
Okay, am I back?
you are back. Yeah,
Sorry, my internet completely went.
you're good. I wanted to be able to tell you that thank you so much for showing your stuff here. Please keep in contact. I absolutely love being able to look back at all of our previous expos and see, for example, Lasso Games when Jack Daniels was first showing Mini Law and Levantera. I love being able to
Mhm.
see all the progress and see it go out on Steam and stuff. So please don't be a stranger and check in, and we want to be able to track your progress all the way through. So everything is looking great. I like the style, just like Garrett likes the style, and keep on letting us know because we'll be interested. And thank you so much for showing us your game today.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
It was great.
And yeah, I'll keep in contact.
That would be great. Thank you so much, sir. And that's going to do it for this year of the 2022 Game Developers Expo. Hopefully, we'll see you all next year for the 2023 Game Developers Expo. In the meantime, start making the game, everybody. Have a good one.